Welcome to Normal Guy Games. Make sure you like and subscribe, everyone. I really need it. And now it's time for a word from our sponsors. Oh wait, I don't have any sponsors. Yet. Time for some more Slapchop. So Slapchop is most definitely a very useful tool. But the thing is, you don't have to stop there when you're doing Slapchop. You can make a project as detailed as you want it to be, as quickly as you want to be. Now, in this particular case, I am using a metal figure from Reaper, and it is a Deadlands Noir Occult detective. So, obviously, the first thing I do is I push the highlights. All right, then because you want those highlights to be bright. The second thing is you block in all the colors. So here I'm going for just some basic colors. This guy's just a regular normal ass detective. There's nothing crazy here. So I went with all contrast paints for this stage, and at this point I used Black Templar for the boots. I used Space Wolves Gray for the pants to make them look sort of like jeans. I'm going to be using Blood Angels Red for the tie, and Apothecary White for the shirt, just to add some, a little bit of color into the recesses of the white shirt. I'm going to be using Guilliman Flesh for the skin, and the Gargax Sewer for the hair, along with Basilicanum Gray for the gun, and Skeleton Horde, I will be using that for the coat. And then I'm going to thin out some Shaiish Purple to use for the book, and then I'll just do some, a couple of other little miscellaneous things here and there. But the thing is, you don't have to stop at that initial stage in Slapchop, or, underpainting, overpainting, whatever you want to call it. You can keep going. You can push the highlights. You can make it a little bit more. In this particular instance, this actually was a Christmas gift for a buddy of mine. So this footage is it's a little bit old, but it still serves the same purpose here. So what I'm trying to show here, obviously beyond the normal Slapchop where you paint something up, you throw some paint on it, and as you can see, I'm actually using a very blown out brush just to prove here that you don't need to be all fancy with it. Now this brush here is not as blown out as the first one, but it's still, it's seen its day. So once you get everything blocked in and everything set all together, you can see here that I've got most of the colors set, and here is the Shaiish Purple that I'm using for the cover of the book. And once again, I actually thinned this out with a little bit of the contrast medium as well, because I didn't want it to be too dark. So once that's done, along with the a little bit of Skeleton Horde for the pages, now you can see what the final Slapchop product looks like. Alright, so where do we go from here? The first thing I did was I pulled out the age-old Agrax Earthshade, and I did this to push the shadows a little bit, to make the recesses a little more, just put a little more color in them. Now here I'm taking a black, this is Nuln Oil, and I'm putting it not only on the tie, between the two sections of the tie, but around the edges of the tie to add a little bit of black. And here I'm actually using Belathian Chitin with just a touch of Skeleton Horde added into it to kind of blend the two colors together. And what I'm doing with that is I'm using that on all of the edges, especially the edges where I feel like there would be some wear and tear. Right around the edges of the back flap of the duster, around the little coat, the tie, the belt for the coat, the elbows, the edges of the bottom of the coat here, and a little bit on the flaps of the coat and the pockets, and definitely here on the front as well. I just wanted to make sure that I kind of get a little bit of this color in a bunch of different places. And as you can see, I'm kind of cross-hatching it in a few places just to add a little bit more texture to the model as well. A little bit of stippling, a little bit of cross-hatching, but mainly this is just edge highlighting. That's all that is. Now with the tie, I went to the very center of the tie and I added a line of it's a scarlet color. It's actually Evil Sun's Scarlet. And I went back to the hair and I added a little bit of the Mournfang brown onto a couple of the strands of the hair. And then once again, I put Scarlet right there in the center of the book where the decoration is. Now, all of this that I've done, including the edging here on the edges of the tie, all of this is, it's very simple. And here I'm doing a little bit of flesh tone on some of the raised edges of the face. Really, it doesn't really take a whole lot to push your Slapchop a little bit harder. Anyway, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Now let's move on to the final product. As you can see here, this is what it looks like after just a little bit of touch-ups. So in the end, it's definitely worth it to push a little further. Just remember that when you're painting.